to my channel. So I am here with an update. I believe the last time I talked to you guys it was 10 DPO last Friday, and so today is Thursday, and I definitely have some updates for you guys. So leaving off from my last video, the 10 DPO, I tested that evening. Actually, I wasn't sure. I was borderline. Do I want to test or do I just want to wait another day or two? I ended up testing and I tested negative. And the following day, 11 DPO, I had cramping and I tested negative. And the day after that, I had cramping, more cramping, lots of cramping on that Sunday. And that was 12 DPO, and I tested negative on this day too. So, needless to say, around 10, 12 DPO, I was getting a little discouraged. I was thinking to myself, okay, you know what? Based off of the message boards that I've been on and the ones that I've read, I know a lot of women usually get a positive result around 9-10 DPO, which is a little early. And you're still in good running until obviously your period comes, but you start to see those positive tests start to pop up around 10 DPO, 11 DPO. So at 12 DPO, getting a negative test, I was like, okay, I'm thinking my odds are a little slim. So needless to say, anyway, I tested the following day, and I was still having cramps, and I was like, okay, my 2-week wait is literally 2 days from now. So if I'm still having cramps and I'm testing negative at 12, 13 DPO, what are my odds? So basically I was just playing the odds game. Every day that passed, I was playing the odds game, and I was just like, okay, I still have all of these pregnancy, or let me not call them pregnancy symptoms, let me say I was having all of these symptoms that mimic symptoms of your period about to come, or for some women it would have been pregnancy. And I talked about those before, and those were sore boobs and tired and moody, backaches, creamy CM, all those things like that. But I think I also told you guys that I was taking Clomid and Overdrill, and I did find a site where some women had said that those drugs definitely increase their symptoms of AF approaching. It gave you the sore boobs, and it gave you the backaches and all those things like that, so it can throw you a little bit. So this being my first cycle, I was really just kind of like at, I think around 12 DPO, I had really just thrown it out. I was like, I don't think it happened this cycle. It's my first cycle, it's disappointing, but not the end of the world, because who does it really happen for on their first cycle? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that it does happen for people, and that's awesome, but around 12 DPO, I was really just like, no. And so, anyway, I see 12 DPO tested negative. Okay, so, let me just say, at this point, I was a testing freak. Like, I was like just testing for the hell of testing. I think a couple days I tested twice a day. Like, I really wanted to see those 2 lines pop up so badly. And I know a lot of you women out there know that feeling. And I just wanted some type of validation for all the symptoms I was feeling. I was just like, there's gotta be something, please. This is just not in my head. And I know that it was in my head. It's truly symptoms that I was feeling, but not maybe for the reasons I thought that I was feeling them. But so I was just testing, and kept coming up negative. So 13 DPO, I tested negative and 14 DPO. I want to write down my results for this cycle. Drum roll. I don't know why I'm making this so dramatic, but why not? It's me. If it wasn't dramatic, it wouldn't be. So, here are my results for my first cycle of Clomid with the Overdrill Trigger shot. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, they said negative. So, let me just say this. On 13 DPO, I started spotting slightly, just a little bit. I was like, oh, maybe this could be really, really, really late implantation bleeding. As soon as I thought, I was like, come on, don't do that to yourself. I was like, that's not the reason why I'm spotting. I had started spotting, but it was like literally probably 30 minutes after me and their husband had just had a love session. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just from that, maybe we're just a little too rigorous, it was like, okay, let me just try to think of what else it could be, because it's definitely not implantation bleeding, because here I am, 13 DPO. Ma'am, stop, okay? That's not what it is. So anyway, I woke up the next morning with the first thing in my mind was, okay, test. Today is your 14 DPO and your 2-week wait is officially over. So grab a test and test. Even though I had a feeling it was negative, I just still wanted to test. So lo and behold, I go to the restroom and go in the bathroom and I pull up my pregnancy test and I'm getting it all ready and I start to pee and I look down and what do I see? I blow. Yeah, that nasty period. Yeah. So, and it was so weird because my period was heavy. My period usually starts off light and gradually, I don't know if that happens for everybody. I think maybe it possibly does. But mine starts off gradual and then it increases and gets heavier as the day progresses. It started off super heavy. Like, so when I was peeing, I felt like I was like 2 days into my period. It was really heavy, and I was like, okay, there's no mistaking what this is. I know what this is, and this is period. And my cycle is out the window. It was not a success in what I would have liked it to end up in, and that would have been my big fat pasta. But I am grateful, and I know that God does things in His own time, and all you can do is go along with that and keep moving forward. And so with that said, I started getting, I will say that day I started getting a little down. I was like, oh, I was already the few days prior to feeling kind of like, oh God, this is not going to be it and all those things like that. But then when I saw that my period was here and in full force, like no mistaking that was period, I was like, ugh. I started feeling really bad. I was just like, is this going to happen? I was like, wait a minute, this is my first cycle. Like, why am I doing this to myself? Don't do that to yourself. So, I quickly snapped out of it. I let myself feel sorry for like a good hour or two. And, by that time I was at work and I was in the hang of my day. And I didn't forget about it. It was in the back of my mind. But it was kind of like, okay, move forward. And so the thought just popped up in my head like throughout the course of the day. And something was like, well, what you wanted may not have happened, but good things did come out of that first cycle. And those good things were that my body acted appropriately to the medications that I was taking. Meaning, I had follicles that were big enough to stimulate with Overdrill or trigger with Benadryl to make me ovulate. I ovulated. That's a pretty good thing. That's good. That's a really good start. And then I had my cycle. So now it's time to start over. So with all that said, I had a doctor's appointment today. And I went in and she did a baseline sonogram, and we talked about this past cycle, and there were a few things that she did not like when I had went in for my prior cycle, and that was the Clomid had made my uterine lining a little bit thin. It did thicken up a few days before I did the trigger shot, because she was like, you know what, actually come in a few days later. She had me come in like 3 days later and, measure the follicle and see if my lining had thickened up. And it actually did. And so she was like, but it's not quite where I wanted it to be. And so this time she said that she was really going to be looking to see how my body responds to the Clomid as far as like my uterine lining and all those things like that. But she upped my dosage of Clomid, and she took me from 100 milligrams to 150 milligrams. And so this is day 2 of my cycle. I am CD2, cycle day 2. And so tomorrow I'll take the Clomid. I'll take my first pill of Clomid. I'll take the 5 days, days 3 through 7, and then hopefully if I have a good follicle size, then she'll go ahead and let me do the trigger shot, and then we'll be baby dancing, and then back to this 2 week wait. So I'm actually excited and hopeful, and I'm a little bit nervous about to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about the Clomid being up in dosage, because I asked her, I said, well, if it was making my uterine lining thin, on the 100 milligrams, like what's the 150 going to do? And she was just saying, basically with the last cycle, I only produced 1 egg. And so she was like, I'd like to see you produce, additional eggs. Of course, not a ton of them, but, at least an additional egg to give your likelihood of pregnancy a better shot or higher chances. And so that's the reason for upping the dosage. So we'll see. Hopefully all goes well. I'm not too keen on the, I know that one of the side effects of taking Clomid is, or any drug that stimulates ovulation, is that you can get hyperstimulation. But I'm not going to try not to think about that so much. Like, I don't want to think about negative things, but to focus on the positive. And the positive is I can take, Clomid. It has worked on my past cycle, and I'm expecting it to work again and even better, and hopefully this cycle will be that BFP that I am looking for. Big fat positive. So anyway, that was my update for you guys. I can never shoot a video and have it under 10 minutes. I'm like at 13 minutes already. Sorry for the long videos. I'm gonna get better. But anyway, it's so much to talk about with this topic, and any questions, definitely write me. Put your questions down below. If you watch and you enjoy watching, give me some feedback. Let me know what you're thinking. Subscribe. I'll subscribe back to you. It's interesting to share ideas and to get to know some of the ladies here. And I've already got to know a few of you, so I'm definitely looking to meet more and to hear your stories, as well as you hear mine. And let's see, where this journey takes us. So it is 9:43. I'm about to go cook before my love comes home. And have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.